obviously you're not a golfer.
I must have drank me about 15 Dr. Peppers.
Congratulations. How do you feel?
I gotta pay.
We have heard the chimes at midnight, Master Robert.
You're an inanimate fucking object! You told I'm coming! And hell's coming with me, you hear? Who the fuck has the goddamn gall to call his house on a Tuesday night? God!
Love, true love. What are we here today to try to figure out about love? The love that's between us, our love for film, our love for Jennifer Lawrence, and our love for John Kim. Now, there's a couple of movies that we got for you today on this 3 for 3 podcast, brought to you by me, Samuel Holler, Matthew Patterson, Jackson Workman, and all of these movies are about romance and about understanding who you are as a person in your relationships and where you want to go in that kind of regard. We got very good highs, we got very, very big lows, and we got real cock and balls in the asshole in a little town in France so you can get your opium.
Yeah, this is not just a Valentine's Day for our straight viewers, but very much for our gay viewers as well. We thought of you guys for this one.
Yes,
Exactly.
Eric Dane would have wished he was in Querelle.
Oh my God, two of these have that. Wow, that's a
Yeah.
good point.
Well, Querelle, the 1982 very, very sexually charged film by Rainer Werner Fassbender, Bender.
Binder,
Um,
I believe.
his last film before he overdosed. Um,
Caused him to overdose,
I
probably.
personally by him. What'd you say, Matt?
This probably caused him to overdose doing the amount of drugs he did on this set, because goddamn.
Entirely filmed on a soundstage, which makes it really fucking trippy. And we follow our character played by Brad Davis, named Querelle. He is a sailor whose captain is played by Franco Nero. Sorry. Um, who just has the fucking hots for him. He just wants to fucking plow him and wants him to love him and wants him to like look him in the eyes and everything, but he doesn't think about his captain. He's just here to do his job. And they stop in a little town in France. Um, and he's looking for opium. He's looking for a good time. He wants to party. He wants to feel nothing, but also feel everything. And he gets in with the wrong crowd and finds out if you can beat this dude in a dice game, you get to fuck his wife. But if you lose, he gets to fuck you. He purposely loses because he wants to know what it's like, and he ends up loving it. And then the journey continues of his time on this area of France, the characters he interacts with, a murder that happens, and then the relationship between him and his captain that is unrequited. And it's wild. This movie looks stunning in all facets. It's colored in very interesting ways. There's a lot of stuff going on in the background, and the camera has that stage feel because it's all fake and obviously that way. And a lot of butt fucking, a lot of eye fucking,
On
and
Franco Nero's part, for sure.
yeah, for sure.
It ain't
And no,
just
no,
scurvy they're afraid of catching.
What'd you say?
catch what?
Said it ain't just scurvy they're afraid of catching.
That's exactly right.
Um,
There's a lot of pitching and catching going on. They're catching all kinds
we,
of
we
things.
we get a whole situation with No No and his wife and her relationship with Curl and his brother, which that part kind of confused me a lot. The fact that he had a brother, but I don't know how y'all felt about it. I really enjoyed this movie. It was an interesting time. It caught me off guard very, very quick, but it just captured me with its visual element, the music, the costuming, the just all the sets, and like the fight scene with where they're just like going around each
Right.
other. And it
Uh,
was interesting.
Matt, what'd you think? I'll let you go first.
Oh, I really enjoyed this. I definitely wasn't expecting it to be this like intense, but then it kept getting like crazier and crazier, and I was like, oh, we're going there. Like we're going, in a good way. I thought the visuals were really cool. It was like Jackson said it was like a fever dream, and it had like that very dreamlike quality of like the soft, like kind of, focus on some of the, like the halos and stuff. It made it like I guess like less seedy somehow that way, even though it was a very seedy movie. It seemed like it helped like elevate it just a little bit. But yeah, no, I really enjoyed it. It just went places I didn't expect. Jackson.
So I don't have a ton to say about this one because normally when you talk about a movie that you saw, there are like highs and lows to talk about, things you can go into, what worked, what didn't work, the narrative, the characters, all these kinds of things. And this was basically just an hour and 50 minutes of just random bullshit that had no rhyme or reason, made no sense, had absolutely no cohesion, no logic, no nothing. I was just watching it the whole time, basically like just at a complete loss for what to even think or say, other than this is fucking insane and random and kind of batshit and all over the place. There wasn't really much of a story. The little bit, I mean, nothing made any sense. Nothing that I describe it as a fever dream because, and Matt, I mean, that's a good point. That's a way I hadn't thought of it. Is you know, it is very dreamlike. So I guess it is a fitting way to describe it because it is kind of dreamlike in the sense that just like in a dream, nothing really makes any sense or has any rhyme or reason. And it is very bizarre that way. But I'll say this, and Sam, you pointed out, I agree with you as well. The cinematography was very good. I'll give it that. It looked great. I like very orange. The whole thing just looked very orange and yellow and but yeah, it definitely was very bizarre. And but that's the thing is like I wasn't bored. I mean, I was at parts, but there were like it was fascinating. That's the word I kept using after it was over. It was fascinating in its bizarreness. I was like every single scene was so just incomprehensibly insane and random and stupid and crazy and just like a fever dream. I was like I'm fascinated by what I'm watching right now. Like just the unique way in which this is batshit insane and just random and just and I just have to say, um, well, two things. One, I just looked up what the budget of this film was. It says it was $4 million. Um, So I give Rainer Werner Fassbinder a lot of props for getting someone to pay him $4 million to finance this self-insert fantasy that he was clearly living out because that's what this was. I mean, this is one of the horniest films I've ever seen in my life. This was literally just an excuse for the director to cast a bunch of good-looking actors to fuck each other in all the ways that he ever wanted to see on a screen.
They were
That's
like,
how this came off to me. I
I
don't think
mean,
he was really trying
yeah,
to
it
have a
also
coherent
is about
narrative or have anything make sense. I think this was just like, I'm going to cast some good looking fellas, put them in some of the most ridiculous looking outfits you've ever seen. Brad Davis is wearing literally a costume from a porno movie in this for most of it, that sailor outfit he has on. And he literally cast the black dude is Rainer Werner
oh no.
Fassbinder's boyfriend in real life. They had an affair in real life,
Oh,
and so, and he cast him in a bunch of his movies. So again, it's like, I want to see my boyfriend fuck Brad Davis. Like that would be hot for me to see. I'm gonna film it. I'm gonna put it in theaters, and that's how it came off to me. And so, God bless him, man, for actually getting someone to give him $4 million to make that happen. But as a narrative, it just was nonsensical. Literally, not a single thing that happened made any sense. Yeah, the thing with his brother made absolutely no sense. I didn't realize until afterwards that the same actor played both his brother and the other guy who he's trying to help, who's hiding out in the cave. I didn't even realize that. And that was a weird choice.
I
And
think,
what were you going to say?
sorry, I very much disagree on the narrative thing, only because of the aspects in which there were conversations with him and other sailors and how like he was down on his luck and took an opportunity to do what his vice and everything, and then found out he had an interest in this. But they very heavily talk about the fact that like I don't fuck guys, I'm not gay, but or I mean I don't get fucked by guys, I'm not gay.
Well, okay, let me rephrase
But
that.
and it's just his exploration of his sexuality and him turning into realizing what happened, and he had to go to his lowest point to achieve understanding of who he is as a person. And the murder is why he pins it on, kind of like forces Guild to be like, take the blame for this. You need to go on the run and all this kind of stuff, is because he can't accept himself for what he's done.
Well, I
And
also saw it as he was trying to make sure they couldn't pin the murder on him. They wanted to make sure they pinned it on the other guy. But okay, so let me rephrase because you're right. There is technically a narrative, but it's very, very, very unfocused and sloppy and chaotic. It's like, again, I can see very vaguely what they're trying to go for with everything you just said, but it is so incoherent. The dialogue sounds like it was written in German and put through Google Translate, and it doesn't sound the least bit like coherent or anything like that. And it's just again, it's kind of just but like and what you just described, Sam, is a porno. Like
oh, the whole time I'm
that's
not
the
saying it's
plot
not
of every
porno. I almost
porno ever.
texted you
Like,
guys
I'm
that,
unsure about my
guys, I think I
sexuality and
picked
I
porno this
want to
week.
find myself and I need to fuck a bunch of people in order to do that. That's literally from Seinfeld, the movie they always talk about, Rochelle, the erotic journey from Milan to Minsk, the parody that they always have in that show. That's this movie, essentially. And it's just like, so, and again, like, the Room also has a narrative. It just doesn't make any fucking sense. And that's basically how I see this is just like there's a loose one, but it's just very, again, nice to look at. And, again, some interesting ideas because it was based on a book where I'm sure the ideas, I would assume, were a bit more coherent and the person who made it wasn't on drugs the entire time like Fassbinder probably was. But, and look, this seems to be, I mean, I haven't looked into it much, but it's well rated in most like on Letterboxd and so other people seem to like it, though I think if anything is artsy enough, anyone will say it's a masterpiece, but I don't know.
For me, it was a little.
Say what?
For me, one thing that was weird that I quite didn't get, well, not didn't get, but I was like, this is a weird choice, was the mixture between the narrative and then the quotes.
Well,
Again,
the
that was
quotes are
just
from the
artsy
book.
pretentiousness to me.
The quotes are from the book.
That's what
Um,
I thought, but I
Oh,
was like,
okay.
if they're already narrating it, why do the quotes? Why not just have the narrator read the quotes? But that was
Because
my
it's
thing.
more artsy and
That was my
pretentious
only
when
like
you
issue, or I was like,
I don't know if y'all noticed the subtitles for the quotes went by way too fucking quick.
yeah, I
oh,
was,
really?
yeah.
I was just reading really fast, but yeah, they did go by very fast. Um, and yeah, again, I don't have a ton to say other than what I've said, but um, I also I felt robbed, damn it. And I was saying this to Matt the other day. I did not wait almost 2 hours to not see Franco Nero destroy his asshole at the end of the movie. They were building to it the whole time. Damn it, they robbed me of it. They just walked back onto the ship, and that's the end of it. Robbery. I would have forgiven everything else if they had just given us that at the end, but nothing.
Speaking of one thing I wanted to bring up, speaking of that, is Brad Davis also was in Midnight Express, like we were talking about. And so clearly he likes to
I've
get
never
his
seen.
asshole robbed and or raped.
Oh, heard? I didn't know that happens in.
I haven't seen it either, but he told me that the other day, and I was like, oh, well, then I might have to see that movie soon then.
Yeah, it's that shit crazy.
But
Um,
it won't be no Franco Nero. I would get caught up with the stage stuff going on, and then the music would just like truly become background music, but like it was just a part of the environment and kept it alive for me, and I really appreciated that. Rest in peace, Pierre Rabin.
Really big, the cock and ball. What do you call it? Statue on the edge of the cliff.
which I didn't notice for 20 minutes. And then when I finally saw it, I was like, Jesus Christ.
They're everywhere. Just
Hmm.
background looming in scenes.
And I also
Always on your
like,
mind.
do you guys think this was a drama or a black comedy?
I thought it was a comedy.
I
Because
thought it was
honest to
kind of
God,
funny as like a black comedy,
about
probably.
about halfway through the movie, I started thinking to myself, maybe I'm looking at this all wrong because there were parts where I legitimately wasn't sure if it was supposed to be funny or not because just some lines like the narrator saying like, and he had the biggest pair of cock and balls that anyone had ever seen. And I was like, this is a fucking comedy. I'm not sure anymore if I'm supposed to take this seriously. But and just there were random quotes like that that kept coming up where I was like, okay, maybe I'm looking at this all wrong, but yeah, it's just kind of hard for me to really, you know, go much deeper because it was just so. That's the main thing I would say. It was bizarre. When it was over, I said to myself, I'm not sure what the fuck I just watched, but that was something. But it was fascinating. Some movies are just boring, and this was at parts, but for the most part, this was just fascinating to me in its bizarreness. So I'll give it that. It achieved that.
Well, I don't know if y'all have anything else to say, but I do have another movie that is the whole time when I finished watching it, I was asking myself, what did I just watch?
That Valent or
Very much
Valentine's.
Valentine's Day. Because Jesus Christ, this movie gave me acid reflux, just like Jamie Foxx said. And fuck this movie. It New Year's Eve is way better.
Really? I'm actually on the other side of
Personally,
this.
I
I
was
think
not.
Valentine's Day is better.
I wanted to
And I
punch
do
George
not like
Lopez in
Valentine's
the
Day that
face.
much. I was more
Oh
interested
my,
in
punch George Lopez in the face.
I just want to punch George Lopez in the face in general, regardless of this movie or not. But yes,
There's
that
no fucking way Topher Grace could pull Anne Hathaway.
that. Yeah,
Like, well, until I saw how ripped he was, then I
I
was
was
like,
about to say, my man Eric Foreman is cut in this. You can't say he can't pull Anne Hathaway, not with that bod. But yeah, so that was my pick this week. Gary Marshall's Valentine's Day. Had to do it because I picked New Year's Eve for the New Year's episode. So I had to do this. And y'all just
it's
wait for
dark.
Mother's Day because that'll be the next one. But yeah, so the plot of this one, very simple, just like New Year's Eve. It's got about 50 celebrities in it, and it's set on Valentine's Day, and they're all looking for all different kinds of love, and it's a bunch of interconnected stories about people looking for love on Valentine's Day. And Matt, I firmly agree with you. I thought this was much better than New Year's Eve. I think so, but here's the thing. So both movies are obviously bad, but to me, this was more just like average, mediocre, bad, like just generic for the most part, not anything special. New Year's Eve legitimately has one of the worst screenplays I've ever seen. I mean, the script for that movie is an abomination that needs to be like locked away in a basement. But, so this wasn't nearly as bad as that, but both movies, like I said when we did New Year's Eve, I pretty much felt the exact same way about this one, where it's like, is it bad? Yes. Did I have fun watching it? Yes.
Oh wait, fuck my life. I got
same.
my costume change
Uh-oh.
because I have a quote from this movie that I need to ask you guys in just a second.
Oh.
I did enjoy this too when I was watching it. It was like dumb fun. But
Yeah, no, that's how I felt about the last one, and this one was, oh.
You ever see someone fall head over heels in love? It's septic.
Okay, Psycho Mantis.
I can't even. What was that? Which one was that from? I don't even remember that line.
I think it
It's been a
was
minute. Who
there
said
was
that? Was it that old dude? Huh?
I think it was Jamie Foxx, but I could be
Mm.
wrong. The
That
second
sounds
time.
right.
Back.
Yeah, that probably makes sense. Yeah.
But yeah, so for me, this was like again, it was like dumb fun. I had a fun enough time watching it. Unlike New Year's Eve legitimately that was also dumb fun, but there were a lot of parts of that movie where I was just like in disbelief at how stupid some of the plot points were and how bad some of the line most of the lines were. But this was more just like, I don't know, like most of like the stories were stupid, but there were some you want to know something honest to God. Okay, so who was your favorite character or like storyline in the movie that you like kind of low key enjoyed?
Sam, I'll let you go first. I'm trying to make sure don't forget anybody, but I think I have my answer.
As horrible as it was, this Taylor Swift, Taylor Lautner
Oh,
stuff.
Sam, you and I could not be on more opposite pages with this
It
film.
was so
Yeah.
bad. It was so bad. I was just cracking up at
Her
how
acting,
horrible it
Jesus
was.
fucking Christ, her acting.
And then when he runs and then trips over the thing that he has to jump over, I was just like, I'm here for this. I wish it was real because he deserved that pain for the piece of shit.
Honestly, one of the funniest parts of the movie was the bloopers afterwards, where she says Taylor and Taylor, the two Taylors, they get us confused sometimes. I was like, oh, I didn't think about that. They are both Taylor. But Matt, what was yours?
Tale of Two
For
Tails.
me, it was really in between the Bradley Cooper, Julia Roberts little bit and the Shirley MacLaine. I can't remember his name,
Hector
the
Elizondo.
guy. Yeah, it was between their two bits. Even though I thought the Shirley MacLaine his bit was kind of dumb. I was not dumb, but I was like,
The ending was dumb because here, and we'll
yeah.
get into this a lot more with the next one. But
I
what I
also
hate,
like the Bradley Cooper, Julia Roberts
what
little
I
bit.
hated about the Shirley MacLaine Hector Elizondo one was he was one of my favorite parts of the movie. Just I love him, and he was one of the better actors in the movie to me. But what I hated was the stupid resolution of that storyline where, she's just like oh yeah, she doesn't apologize. She doesn't like make up for it at all. She doesn't. She just says, "You're going to forgive me because you have to love me no matter what I do." And I'm just like, "Okay." I guess that's they play it like I'm like a woman definitely wrote the script. But that's one of the stupidest things I've ever fucking heard. But like basically like, yeah, I cheated on you, get over it. You have to forgive me anyway, no matter what.
Yeah, you gotta accept that's like the
All right.
wrong. That's good or
And
some shit.
he that works. He forgives her and he's just like, okay, that's really stupid. But and there were a couple others that, also had kind of stupid resolutions like and we're just kind of like and there was like the Topher Grace Anne Hathaway one to me was so fucking dumb, but like again, just I couldn't help but just like I don't know. It was so dumb, but it was so just I don't in such an entertaining way. Like her just doing all the stupid accents over the phone was just like, what the fuck is this shit? But for me, the one by far that I love the most, that kid is my spirit animal. The little kid, that was by far my favorite storyline. Him trying to get the fucking and the plot twist, you think it's the girl, like his classmate the whole time, and then it's Jennifer Garner in the end
Yeah.
that he was
Yeah.
trying to buy it for. I was like, my man's shooting his shot. He's not gonna make it, but God bless him, he's shooting his shot. That kid's my spirit animal. I was just rooting for him so hard. Like most of the storylines were either like stupid or pointless or just kind of like, okay, whatever. But I was like rooting for him so hard the whole movie. I was just like, come on, kid, you can do it. You can get those fucking flowers to that girl, whoever it is. So, but yeah, other than that, it was just kind of like the two Taylor storyline literally had absolutely no
Did
point,
not need to be a part of
no
this.
story,
Nothing at
no
all. It's just
resolution,
there.
no nothing. At like the most pointless one in the movie by far. But I will
Yeah.
say this, as dumb as the movie is, there were a couple of moments I genuinely liked, like that took me off guard because okay, plot twist Hall of Fame. Bradley Cooper being the guy that Eric Dane was talking about the whole movie. I cannot tell you how much I did not see that. That legitimately got like a real like I threw my arms up when that happened and said, "What the fuck?" Like I didn't see that coming at all. I thought that was really I would never would have guessed. But and also the kid being Julia Roberts' son, I didn't see coming either. I thought that was a really sweet moment. But I also just liked it was a little corny, but I liked the part at the end where Jennifer Garner and Ashton Kutcher like kiss on the bridge, and you know they take the moment to like make it realistic, where they're like, "Oh yeah, okay, that wasn't good at all. Like we need to practice." Then they did it again. I was like, I don't know, I kind of like that. That's like in every movie it would just end after the first kiss, and they actually kind of like take a moment to acknowledge like, yeah, they've been friends for a long time, so it's awkward. So I don't know. It was, maybe a little cheesy, but I enjoyed that part of it. And
I
most
was
of the
happy to,
storylines were, what were you gonna say?
I was gonna say, I was happy to see Patrick Dempsey in the movie, and there, even though he was playing a cheating son of a bitch.
Well, I
Cheating.
mean, it just kind of goes without saying that Patrick Dempsey's always going to play a douchebag. Like as soon as I saw him, I was like, okay, so how's he going to be a douche? It's going to happen
I
somehow.
mean, I was watching, he's in the new Dexter show, he's in the new Dexter series, and I was literally like, the whole time, I'm like, what is he gonna do?
He's always going to do something to be a douche to somebody. But yeah, I don't know. It's dumb schmaltzy fun, but not the
Let's
greatest
see
thing
if
ever.
Mother's Day is any better.
Yeah.
I've heard that's actually the worst of the three, so I don't know if it's true, but we'll find it. Different writer that one, because this and New Year's Eve had the same writer. But
Mm.
Mother's Day has a different writer, so we'll see how that one goes. But
I don't remember this character, but my only notes for this movie was Cisco Martinez is a cheating rat.
okay.
I don't
Alrighty.
know. I don't know what that is in relation to, but
Oh,
Cisco
one other
Martinez.
shout out I want to give out to, which I can't remember his name either, was the dude from the Southwest airline thing with the Ashton Kutcher scene where he gets him the
Oh,
ticket.
Larry Miller. Yeah,
Yes, Larry
yeah.
Miller.
One of the funnier parts
Him
of the
coming
movie.
back. Yes, I was like, well, it's funny because like the first time he doesn't really, he kind of helps him get where he needs to go, but doesn't really. And this time he actually helps out, and I was like,
But that's right. Both times he's the guy that helps the person get to. I didn't think about that. That's
yeah.
funny. But what
And
was
they
I gonna
also mentioned Facebook again in this movie.
say? What? Oh, they
They
do.
mentioned
You're
Facebook in
right.
this movie and the other one. I was like, okay,
You're
we got
right.
2 for 2 on that too.
This is one of the only movies I've ever seen. I was so confused. Like, I've never seen a movie before do the dramatic running through the airport to catch the person halfway through the movie. Like,
Yeah,
I
that
thought I
did
was like,
my
it doesn't
time.
feel like we're that far in, but this is clearly the end because we're doing the running to the airport bit. And then I paused it and it said it had an hour left. I was like, the fuck? Yeah, that was just screenwriting 101. Just that has to be at the end. But yeah, and then just I can't even remember like Jamie Foxx's thing. Oh, and pet peeve, by the way, of mine, I cannot fucking stand, and I guess this happens in real life, but I can't stand it when supermodel looking women like Jessica Biel play the chocolate eating hopeless romantic. That is just such a fucking cliche that I can't stand. Like, yeah, I'm sure Jessica Biel has a really fucking hard time finding out someone on Valentine's Day. And I guess in the end she does get with Jamie Foxx, but the whole thing is just fucking.
Jackson, you're canceled.
Thank you for reminding me because I want you to know something. I made the
Called
joke.
her a chocolate eater.
I I made the joke when I was watching the movie before Jamie Foxx made it himself. I said, how long, because I knew it was coming. I said, how long before they, as soon as she said, you know who my Valentine is? Chocolate. I'm like, how long before Jamie Foxx says it? I know it's coming. Sure enough, they couldn't help themselves. He said it towards the end. So, yep. But I am canceled. You're right.
It's okay.
You'll have
You're
to,
Everyone gets one.
amongst the
I'm Carla
regular.
Sofia Gascon. You're going to have to completely disavow me.
Jesus.
Netflix will no longer directly talk to you.
Yeah, your hair's you got to pay for your own hair and like hotel for the awards show. Just to
And your
let you
own
know.
Netflix subscription.
I'm banned.
Yeah,
I'm banned
and
now.
travel arrangements,
You
but
want to watch your own movie, you got to pay for it.
Oh man. But yeah, I don't know. Just that's all I really can say. Just dumb fun, just like New Year's Eve. It's like it hit me right in that sweet spot where it's like, Okay, this I need this right now.
Well, last movie we got to talk about today makes me feel a little weird because I'm not wearing my protective trash bag outfit while I am running this shit. But Matt's pick, if you want to take it away, has a very big silver lining to it.
All right, my pick is Silver Linings Playbook, starring Valentine's Day alum Bradley Cooper and also New Year's Eve alum Robert De Niro. Uh, and it is about Bradley Cooper, who uh, was recently incarcerated in a mental facility for a violent outburst against his ex-wife's lover, also history teacher
A
slash
fucking
coworker.
history teacher. It's
They were
always the
fucking in the
history.
shower.
And he gets out and he's trying to get back with his ex-wife, and he's trying to do all he can to do that, being positive, working out, not taking his medication, um, and reading books.
Breaking Chris Tucker out of
Yep.
too.
Several times. He goes back several times. Um, and the whole movie really is him trying to get back with his ex-wife. And through that, he meets her friend, uh, Jennifer Lawrence, who also just lost her husband and is also a bit crazy and on pills and meds and all that good stuff. And they become friends. And to show his ex-wife that he is rehabilitated, he joins her for a dance. All the while, there is a bunch of other things going on, like his father, who is betting all his money on the Eagles. You could also say this is a pre-Super Bowl pick.
Blaming
Especially,
it on his son too when issues arise because his son being there is the solution.
yep.
But no, it's when he's with Jennifer Lawrence.
Exactly.
It's
I
the
love
good
that
luck
scene.
charm.
Uh, and yeah, and so the whole movie is basically them just, getting over their aforementioned, uh, people. And, heartwarming, fun. I don't know about heartwarming exactly, but I mean, I
I'm
enjoyed it. It's something I've watched a lot. So, uh, yeah. Sam, what were you gonna say?
Oh no, just I really enjoyed John Ortiz.
Oh, yeah.
He's one of my favorite parts of this movie, and just like the scenes, the interactions between him and Bradley Cooper. Um, just
Yeah, no, I
enjoy.
loved him. I also loved the therapist Cliff. He was really
Fuck the
funny.
therapist. He played that song in the lobby on purpose.
Fucking
Like
Philadelphia therapists,
piece of
man.
shit.
I mean, at least he hung out with him at the game. Deshaun Jackson is the man. All right, so we're gonna get this one over with. Jackson, I'm curious to hear your thoughts via your review. I'm ready for it to not be great, but hey,
Well, I did happen to notice on your profile, this is one of your top four favorite movies that you have listed there. So
yeah,
I will try to be kind, and not be too harsh. Just a heads up right up top. I hate David O. Russell. I hate Jennifer Lawrence. So the chances,
oh, really?
yeah,
I didn't know you hated Jennifer Lawrence. I
I
knew
don't
you
like
did
either
like
one of
David O.
them.
Russell.
She's very rarely ever been good in anything, in my opinion. It's rare for her to give a good performance. This is one of her better ones, but
Not Joy.
not Oscar
Not
worthy.
Joy or
Almost
American
10
Hustle.
years since that monstrosity came out. But this
This is
is
what
one of her
started all that.
better this is one of her better performances. I'll give her that, but the fact that she won an Oscar for this is a fucking joke. But not nowhere near Oscar worthy. But yeah, so just like most David O. Russell movies, please forgive me, Matt. This is shallow, obnoxious trash. But
You seen Three Kings?
nope.
I
But
thought
I've seen
you seen
Flirting with Disaster, which I hated, and I've seen Joy, which I hated. The only
I'm not even
movie
a huge
his
David O. Russell fan. This just happens to be a good, to my like,
yeah.
not even him. It's
Flirting
just
with
the movie.
Disaster.
Hmm?
The only
That was
movie of
good
his I've
color.
seen that I liked was The Fighter. And it's the only
Fighter's
one he
good,
didn't
yeah.
it's the only one he didn't write. Interesting coincidence. But yeah, it
Kind of
but
enjoyed American Hustle too.
I
Like I
haven't seen
didn't hate
that.
that one, but I didn't think it was as good as this, or it was just kind of
Yeah. So
Soundtrack's like it though.
my issues with it are like most David O. Russell movies, it's just very hollow. It's like Flirting with Disaster was very similar where it was, and even Joy to an extent, like it's a it's a good premise and like you see what they're trying to go for, but he's such a bad writer and he's not interested in really getting beneath the surface of what's going on that, it just doesn't work. Like, first of all, I I cannot tell you how fucking anxious I was for the first hour of this movie. I had to pause it and get up and take a breath like 3 times because Bradley Cooper is the most fucking obnoxious, unlikable protagonist I've ever seen in a movie in this film. If he
I,
had one more mental
Onyx the
breakdown,
fortuitous.
Because
I
he,
He's no Onyx the fortuitous. Fortuitous.
he's oh
yeah.
I take that back. Well, you know what, honestly? You know what? I don't take that back because as obnoxious as Onyx the Fortuitous was, I was at least able to stay in this chair and not have to get up 3 fucking times in the span of an hour just to like I was so anxious. Like he was stressing me out so much.
Stressing Robert De Niro out too. And
Clearly,
Jack
I
Reacher.
sympathized with Robert De Niro punching him in the face. I was like legitimately I couldn't stand it. Like by the time we get to the second half of the movie and they're like he's becoming better and he's less crazy and the damage was done. I was like I don't like this character. I don't sympathize with this character. This character is an asshole. He like the scene where he is fucking tearing the house apart over the wedding video. I thought I was going to have a panic attack watching that scene. It was so stressful. I was like, this fucking guy. And then the scene in the diner where he's being the biggest asshole on the planet to Jennifer Lawrence. I wanted her to absolutely slap him in the face and like I was like this guy is too unlikable. I do not remotely like this character. I do not remotely sympathize with this character. And we're supposed to. We're supposed to think like, oh, he's an underdog who we're supposed to root for, who no, he's psychotic. He should never have been let out of the mental institution. He's stalking his ex-wife for half the movie. He's acting like a complete asshole to everybody. He's a genuine menace. He hurts both of his parents in the process of trying to find that wedding video. And I'm just like, this character is not likable in the slightest. And that was my biggest problem. But then even beyond that, it's like there were so many moments where I was like, okay, what are we doing here? I didn't even know that Jennifer Lawrence liked him that much until the end when she starts freaking out when the ex-wife shows up. I'm like, when was it communicated that she liked him that much? When was it said? I don't remember like a moment in the movie where I'm like, oh, that's when their characters
Dancing.
really started to get close together. Like they're training for the dance off, but and she's lying to him half the time. She's manipulating a mentally ill person by lying to him. Again, doesn't make me
They're
like
both
her very
mentally
much
ill.
either. Say what?
They're definitely both a little mentally
They're
ill.
both crazy and
Yes.
unlikable. Not her
Cut
as
this out.
much. She's at least not the biggest raging asshole on the planet, but he is and I mean, it was very obvious to me that she wrote the fucking letter. I'm like, no shit, she wrote the fucking letter. Like they try to play that off like it's a big plot twist, and I'm like, no shit, of course she did. And again, like so many stupid moments where you'd think the point would be, you know, that a lot of Bradley Cooper's problems he inherited from Robert De Niro. And like De Niro's trying to act like, oh, you're a failure, you're crazy. I'm treating you like, you're the really you got all this shit from me, but I'm acting like I'm above it all and you're the one in the mental institution. You'd think that would be the point, but
Hey,
no, it's like Robert De Niro also has all of these neuroses, but there's never a scene where anyone calls him out for it. They encourage it. Like he's got a gambling problem. He's got OCD.
Bradley Cooper calls him out, I feel like, a couple times for it. He's
Not
like,
really
OCD,
though.
Dad.
They encourage him. The point, like the scene where Jennifer Lawrence comes in and reveals that, she was responsible for the success or whatever, they're feeding into his delusion even more. And
Rhythm
that
with the
should
tism, okay?
say what?
Yeah,
Rhythm with the tism.
you can't beat him, join him, you know. She had
That's a
to.
callback to a joke that got cut from a previous episode, so I don't know if the audience will get it. But yeah,
We just gotta keep doing the cut joke, and then nobody will
The
ever know, but we
and like the
will.
15th time we do it, we leave it in and we'll say, you guys don't know this is a running joke. But yeah, no, again, you'd think at that moment the whole point would be Robert De Niro realizes like, shit, I guess I'm really just as crazy as my son. I guess I'm not that great either. I guess I thought that he was good luck. Like I let my neuroses and my gambling addiction almost bankrupt us and make us lose the family business. But no, they're like, no, 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 let's keep going. Let's actually gamble more. Let's encourage you to gamble so we can win the dancing competition. Like it's not played off as a bad thing. It's like it's fun. It's part of the story. Yeah, they cheer when they win at the end. And I'm just like, this is
We had
stupid.
to
Why
win
are
the
you
money.
guys letting him continue to do this? Like it's not played off as a bad thing, really. It drove me crazy. And then like I don't know, it's so much of it was just like it's fun, it's part of the plot. Let's keep gambling. Let's bet on the like I don't know. It was dumb. There were just so many stupid moments. And again, just like any movie that literally has a scene where the main character says out loud, "Oh, maybe we just see things differently than you guys see. Did you ever think of that?" That was so cringy. I just couldn't handle it. I was like, you did not just say that out loud. That was like, I don't know if you guys are picking up on the theme this episode. This was meant to be an episode of love, but for me personally, this episode represents what Valentine's Day is really all about. You
zero for
think they're going to
three.
come through and you think you can depend on them, but then they just break your heart and disappoint you. So that's the stance I'm taking on all three movies today, though not Valentine's Day because I did enjoy that to an extent, but the other two, no. And I'm not
Half out
saying,
of 3 out of 10.
say
Uh,
what?
0.5 out of 3 out of 10. Or
There
point 0.5
you
out of
go.
3. I don't know why I said out of 10.
yeah.
But
I
yeah,
will
I don't
say
know.
though, I really, and I think it personally is pretty emotional, but that's just me. And I also enjoyed the comedy and thought it was at least well directed. And I enjoyed most of the scenes. So, like, there is a couple that I did bring it down this time from a 5 to a 4, but I still really enjoyed.
I think
Also, it's
hits
funny
every
to say,
so
Bradley Cooper now runs a cheesesteak spot in New York.
yes he does.
And so I
Yeah.
guess they actually it took them long enough, but they got the restaurant up and running.
Yeah. But yeah, and I mean, look, I know
Shea
I'm
Wingham, Shea Wingham, shout out.
Everyone
yeah, he was good. He was good.
Yep.
The performances were all good, but again, I just didn't think and like
Fucking Randy. That guy too.
say
Can't
what?
remember his name. The guy who played Randy.
Oh yeah, Beansy from The Sopranos. Yeah,
Yes, yeah.
Paul
Yeah.
Herman, yeah. But yeah, he was good too. But yeah, I don't know. It's one of those deals. I know I'm very much in the minority on this one. This is like, I mean, obviously a very beloved movie, but you know, to me it was just yet another just very shallow, obnoxious, just grating David O. Russell movie. Like that's what most of his movies are to me, and just just stupid shit. Again, just incredibly, incredibly unlikable protagonist. A story that really goes nowhere. Just very surface level shit, very hollow, but seems like it has meaning, but it doesn't. Those are just the traits I associate with all his movies, and that this was no, there was nothing. I personally was not invested in anyone or anything in this film. I thought the protagonist was way too unlikable. I
Not
thought
even Chris Tucker.
the say what?
You weren't even invested in Chris Tucker.
Not his storyline, no. I mean, I enjoyed his performance, but no, he was just kind of most scenes he was kind of just set dressing. It's like he didn't really contribute anything to
He
the
was. He was
story.
holding the thing.
Say what?
He was. He was holding the remotes.
In one scene.
He
Yeah.
was set dressing. I'm agreeing with you.
Oh,
He, he was Robert De Niro set dressing.
that's
Literally.
true. So yes, more than I realized. But but yeah, just the unlikable protagonist could not have given less of a shit about the main relationship because I would have to like both of those characters to see them want to get together. And I didn't hate Jennifer Lawrence's character, but I wasn't really that invested in her either. It's like you got clearly someone who's a mentally unstable asshole and someone who is perfectly fine with manipulating a mentally ill person to get what she wants. So again,
Perfect pair.
I don't say what.
I said perfect pair.
I guess that's the point, is they're both messed up, so they belong together.
Hey,
But it's
two
like, no,
negatives
I
make
just
a
think that's
positive.
that what?
Yeah.
Two negatives make a positive.
That's
I
what
noticed
they
this time
want you
is
to
the only time
think.
I noticed the ending scene is the only scene that neither of them are wearing their wedding rings. I did not notice that before,
Hmm.
That's cool.
but I
It
noticed that this time.
symbolizes that they've moved on.
Yep.
But
They're actually no, it symbolizes they're mentally healthy now, actually. They're no longer ill.
Yeah,
oh,
they're not bound by the issues of their
See,
past.
love was the pill
I
they
see.
really needed.
I guess that's how that works. Once you fall in love, all your mental problems stop. But yeah, it
Yep.
again, I personally think again, there was a story that was so much more interesting right there that they didn't really explore. Because again, at the end of the movie, it's just like, I don't know, there wasn't really a scene where they ever like I don't know. The whole point should have been Robert De Niro, you're just as responsible for this as anybody, but no, it's like, no, it's fun that you almost gambled the restaurant away. Let's do it some more. Like, let's make it a fun thing. And again, just like, yeah, Jennifer Lawrence just I legitimately could not figure out for the first 5 minutes why she was so fucking upset when the wife showed up. I was like, what is your problem? What? 'Cause there was not a scene, I'm telling you, where it was made clear that she was that attached to him that she would be that upset over it. And I'm just like, when did this happen? Like last I checked, you were still being kind of distant and aloof. You were still just like interested in winning the competition. You were still manipulating him. When did this happen where you genuinely cared about him that much? It was just fucking hollow. Like all his movies are just so fucking just Oscar bait. All of his movies are just fucking Oscar bait. It's just like the Fighter's the only one that's an Oscar bait movie too, but at least it's good. And again, it's like he didn't write that one, so no shit, it doesn't suck. But I don't know. That's again, don't mean I know it's one of your favorite movies. I don't mean to shit on it too much, but it left just such a bad taste in my mouth. I did not. I can't tell you how anxious I was for the first half of the movie. I just really fucking just he was so I haven't harped on that enough, I feel like. He was so unlikable I couldn't stand it. It was just unfucking believable. I was like, they should never have let this guy out. He's just Jesus
The
Christ.
menace to society.
Legitimately, I'm just like I feel like he was almost a self-insert for David O. Russell. It's just like, yeah, see, like I can make a completely belligerent, obnoxious asshole likable to a mainstream audience. So maybe then I'll feel more accepted because that's what he is an obnoxious, belligerent asshole. But yeah,
Excelsior.
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 Excelsior. That was a funny little thing they threw in there. That's the logo for New York. Yeah.
Yep.
But
And then one more shout out I want to give is to Julia Stiles. She was really good.
yeah, I didn't know she was in it until she showed up. That was wild seeing her in this.
Yeah, her like Sam was saying, her and John Ortiz,
John
great
Ortiz
side
is definitely one of
characters.
my one of the better parts of the movie for me, for sure.
Yeah.
Well, in this season of spreading love, I just want to leave y'all with a few things. Catch your wife fucking the history teacher. Punch him in the goddamn mouth and deal with the consequences later. If you see a person who is less, uh, maybe I can't say this, less able to be understood on an interview than you, butt in there as a florist, be Ashton Kutcher, take the spotlight. If I'm a sailor, and if you're a sailor, we're fucking it in the butt. And those are the three lessons of the 3 for 3 podcast Valentine's Day special. I feel like Joaquin Phoenix the way I just went through several different accents right there within that brief span of time. But spread love. It's all love out here.
It's
Yeah,
also a Valentine's Day movie.
get the heart. Oh, Jackson.
I'm taking the firm stance this Valentine's
Yeah,
Day.
you're 0.5 for 3. I would say I'm 3 for 3. Or no, I'm
Uh,
2 for 3 because fuck Valentine's Day.
I'm like
Yeah, there
two
you
and a half
go.
for
Break yours
three.
too, Sam.
I'm 2.5 for 3. I'm like this.
Yeah, you're a little
I'm like a
there.
gaping hole, like Querelle.
There's there's definitely a gaping hole in this episode, and it's potentially Brad Davis's butthole.
Very much so. No, you know what the gaping hole is? The hole in my life that was left by Franco Nero. Not they were building to it the whole movie,
At
man.
least kiss, man. At
The
least fucking
whole
kiss.
movie. The emptiness in my life, the hole that left. That's the hole.
And a
Querelle.
3, 4, 3. Y'all have a great night.